Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about HubSpot. If you're hustling in the trenches to build a business or bootstrapping one of your own, let's talk about an AI-powered tool that can lighten up your workload a bit. HubSpot's Campaign Assistant is a game changer for creating marketing campaigns at scale. It quickly turns your key selling points into a cohesive pitch, which helps you deliver knockout emails, ads, and landing pages in minutes. So let Campaign Assistant take care of the campaigns so you can get back to growing your business. Work smarter, not harder at HubSpot.com/campaign-assistant.
Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, September 21st. I'm Ben Berkley here with Sara Friedman, and you're listening to the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we'll be talking about surge pricing, a term so heinous, we probably should have had our editors bleep it out, but you're all adults here. We're okay. Surge pricing, this is the practice of setting prices based on demand. So say an extra pricey Uber during a storm, airlines asking for half your life savings for a flight home during the holidays, that whole chestnut. Consumers hate it, but companies love it. And that tension's going to be tested a lot coming up because surge pricing is expanding. We'll go much deeper into that nightmare in just a moment. But first, let's cover a few other things making headlines in the world of business and tech today. Neuralink, Elon Musk's neurotech startup, received approval to start recruiting patients for its first human clinical trials. The company's brain implant would help patients with paralysis control tech with their brain, which, very cool in theory, very scary in reality. Sara, if you could send any message to someone considering signing up for these very first trials, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think ultimately this could be really amazing, but I feel like we know all about the guinea pig. The idea is to not be first up, I think. Like, we can wait this one out, and I think possibly later is the time, not right now.
Yeah, I think my message probably comes down to two simple words. Please don't. We'll move on from there. Let's talk about Dollar General, the dollar store chain that has accrued more than $25 million in fines since 2017 and failed hundreds of safety inspections. A Bloomberg deep dive said working at the U.S.'s biggest dollar store chain is, quote, the worst retail job in America. And then they provided all the receipts to back it up. Employees reported the chain blocking fire exit with chains, goods sold well past expiration dates, and more sold that are covered in bird poop, among other safety hazards for its very miserable employee base. So maybe if you're thinking about going to Dollar General today, just know what you're getting yourself into. Stanford University said it will return gifts received from bankrupt crypto exchange FTX. A lawsuit against founder Sam Bankman-Fried's parents, who are both tenured law professors at Stanford, alleges that the school received millions in donations from FTX. Walmart is opening a pet center that will offer veterinary care and grooming. The pilot location, which will be near Atlanta, will have a separate entrance from the main store and be staffed by employees of vet care company Pet IQ. And then let's go on to one more thing before our top story. Taylor Swift news, of course. The artist partnered with Google to tease new song titles for her upcoming re-recorded album 1989 with a puzzle game. Here's where things get really interesting. Swift fans notably can do anything in a way that is maybe kind of scary. They solved 33 million puzzles, gaining access to the titles, and they did this in just a matter of hours. Sara, can you give me something that makes me not very scared to live in a world where Swift fans exist? Swifties, I'm so sorry. Swift fans, look at me, I'm a grandpa. Please help me be less scared of them.
Yes, I don't think I can, because I think you should be scared of them. They're very powerful. Like, honestly, I think they could easily just replace the CIA for their capabilities. They are on the case. Like, the sheer speed at which they move is pretty unbelievable. So this doesn't really surprise me. It was a little game that opened up a vault with different word puzzles, and they were all based on kind of Swift lore. So if any group is going to crack that code immediately, it's the Swifties.
See, this is definitely not making me less scared. So let's actually just move on entirely to our main story for today. So, Sara, you actually set the scene perfectly in the story you published this morning. When in that you said, you're huddled under an awning, caught in a torrential downpour. You open your Uber app and you see that a ride home will cost 4 times its normal price. And this, of course, is the experience related to the demon spawn known as surge pricing. We're using Uber as an example here. It's not just an Uber thing. Obviously, the same basic thing is in place as you're booking hotels or flights. As demand goes up, so do the prices. And then where we're really getting into this here today, you don't want to hear it. I'm so sorry, but it's coming for you everywhere else. Sara, can you tell us how this surge pricing is spreading across the world?
Yeah, so it turns out that the only thing that was holding back physical stores from also doing this and using surge pricing was just literally the fact that it was so time consuming to be updating sticker prices and price tags in brick and mortar stores. So unfortunately for the consumer, technology is changing that. So we've seen it with Ticketmaster. There's been a lot of uproar from fans about concert tickets going for 2 times the face value as demand grows. Walmart is introducing digital price tags into 500 of its stores. And a funny one that happened recently was Stonegate Group, which is Britain's largest pub company, recently introduced surge pricing at 800 of its pubs, and they were raising beer prices on weekends and evenings. So you can take a guess as to how thirsty people were taking that when they went to order their beer.
We will say that is the very opposite of happy hour. But, it seems like what we're seeing is not just obviously the availability of catching people at point of purchase with, digital price tags or anything like that, or obviously just wholly digital sales. I assume they're also using this, using the advances in technology to actually do the pricing and set the right prices at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why as machine learning and artificial intelligence gets smarter, this is going to be more and more common because companies can more easily implement dynamic pricing tactics. And there are also services, one called Quick Lizard, that create dynamic pricing tools. So places like Sephora and IKEA can go to these companies to say, how can we implement dynamic pricing in our stores? And it's going to continue to get easier with this new tech.
Cool. So glad. I mean, I think that, I led off with that scene of waiting for the Uber and you just are like crestfallen as you see that it's just so expensive. That really hit home for me. This is not something that people like at all. Do you have some details in terms of how much they dislike it?
Yes, there is data to back it up, although I don't think we need it necessarily. We could guess that people don't love spending more money. But in the UK, 71% of music fans polled last year said that they opposed surge pricing for concerts. And over here in the US, 52% of consumers say that they think dynamic pricing in restaurants is equivalent to price gouging. And there's even research that suggests that pricing algorithms can actually harm consumers. I, off the bat would have to agree with that. I think the consumer is never going to be happy about this or have it feel good, but obviously we can understand from a business point of view why this would make them more money.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is as a consumer, I'm kind of just looking at this being okay, great. Love the idea that what is already an $8 beer inexplicably is now going to be a $10 beer just because I decided to go out in the evening to drink it. Doesn't make me feel good, but I obviously see the business case here. It's just smart. Doesn't mean we have to like it. And so I think that there's clearly Ticketmaster, for instance, who's really noted for this. They're still selling a whole lot of tickets. It's one of those things where we I feel like as consumers, thumb our nose at it and get really mad and then still just pay up anyway.
Yeah, I think the takeaway, experts in the space are saying this might not change as much as we think it's going to change or might want to be changing. I think consumers will continue to show up. And if anything, maybe it's showing us that day drinking during the workday might be a better idea than we thought.
Well, okay. I think that that is the ultimate happy note to end a really just like dour, oh no, we're all going to be spending so much more when we really don't want to be. So thank you for that. That's something that we just go do right now. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We are a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Ezra Trupiano, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, do your inbox a favor. Go to thehustledoc.co/email and get yourself signed up. And we will see you tomorrow.
Let me tell you about a show that I've been loving lately. It's called Entrepreneurs on Fire. It's hosted by the incredible John Lee Dumas. It's available now on the HubSpot Podcast Network. Entrepreneurs on Fire stokes inspiration and shares strategies to fire up your entrepreneurial journey and create the life that you've always dreamed of. I'm a big fan of this podcast. It has energy, it has value, and it's all about learning about entrepreneurship. I was just listening to an episode the other day. JLD interviewed Jay Rogers, who was such a wealth of information. He kind of went into how entrepreneurship chooses you. You don't necessarily choose it, and that failure only happens when you stop trying to win. A lot of gems in this one, so I'd highly recommend checking out that particular episode along with the rest. So go listen to Entrepreneurs on Fire wherever you get your podcasts. Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late, since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.